Okay, and here goes Quaha. You can do it. Oh, just make it look better. Thank you. Thank you. Rappi. Chats with 2 cents. Recording in progress. I don't know how long we're allowed to record this stuff. I never use Zoom. So we'll see what happens.
You said you did something with Tony?
Yeah. We before that thing I did on Distracted Sports, I did the little cameo thing. We had a chat first. We spoke or whatever. Yeah. That went for an hour. I don't know how we managed that, but yeah, that's what happened.
Tony likes the sound of his own voice, so there you go.
I learned now he is a salesman, so yeah.
He is a salesman. Yeah, exactly right.
I've got friends who are salesmen. You can keep them going for hours. One little question. And you've been busy?
Bro, yes.
Yeah. I was just watching the Italian video.
Yeah, there's a lot of spreadsheets. I have lots of spreadsheets.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't complain, man. It's
the only complaint is the time zone. I can imagine that's a bit of an issue.
Well, even then, I got pretty lucky. Japan was pretty convenient. Nice evening games. In New Zealand, that was pretty peachy. So can't have it all hour
got to
away.
pay for it at some point. Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Well, I don't have a name for this. It's just to talk shit about the rugby. I figured there's a New Zealand South Africa game coming on, so the two of us
talk shit about the rugby. There you go. There's your title.
There you go. Yeah. I don't want to step on Tony's toes. I'm not going to be a podcast.
I saw him Monday. Yeah, today's Wednesday. Monday, and I meant to tell him. By the way, I'm gonna go have a chat with him, but I didn't. I forgot to mention it. It's not like I'm trying to hide it from him
as well.
Yeah. It's like I'm going behind his back, sneaking around with another YouTuber.
Yeah, but there needs to be a South Africa versus a New Zealand preview thing at some point. So I figured
true.
You used to talk to Unbiased Rugby a lot. I don't know what's happened to him.
Yeah, no, he stopped making videos as far as I'm aware. But that's a real blast from the past, that one.
No, I told Tony as well. I used to watch. It sounds parasocial. I was like your 60th subscriber or something like that. So I used to catch all of that stuff years ago when it was like basically you and Squidge were the only guys doing this stuff.
I used to sit on the floor. Now I'm moving up in the world. Now I sit on a chair.
Yeah, and you've got a bookcase and the whole works. You can see the couch that I'm using now is right there.
Oh, that's the set. Right.
This is the little home office. I'm looking at the computer you used to see in my background, but I got sick of that background. It's too busy. So I decided to move to the couch. I can also fall on a couch, which is also very nice.
There you go. Yeah. Convenient. Nice to have a home office, man. I wish I had that. I'm in the bloody living room. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm lucky. This house has that one spare room, but now I've got the new kid. This one spare room might have to be offered up at some point.
True.
I'm looking at
How old's your oldest one?
The oldest one actually today is 2 years and 10 months. So
they're both pretty little.
Yeah.
That's a pretty similar gap. I think my daughter was born when my son was like 2.5. So very, very similar.
I don't know why we did it. I mean, at 2.5, they just get out of nappies. They just stop dummies.
We literally went from like he was toilet trained and then she was born. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to get out of practice. It's slightly different. But
we still had all the crap as well. So now, as everything gets used, we'll chuck it away, which is very nice. Our house is
I think it's a nice gap though, because they can like still play with each other.
Yeah,
they're not like my brother's kids are like 5 years apart.
Yeah,
and by the time he's like 3 now, she's like, nah, I'm playing with a 3-year-old. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So this game on Friday, why? Why is this happening? Why is South Africa and New Zealand smashing into each other 2 weeks before World Cup? Is it money?
The cynical part of me says this is a money spinner. They wanted a game at Twickenham.
Yeah.
There's got to be a bit of a cash element for both the New Zealand Rugby Union and the South African Rugby Union, surely. Yeah. Otherwise, why would you do this to each other? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I had the same thing. Almost any game played at Twickenham these days is like, it must be for money. It can't be because England want to win anything. A little shot there.
It just seems like a bizarre one. Like when you see some of the other games that are going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, we always enjoyed New Zealand against South Africa.
Yeah.
And we enjoy this one as long as nobody gets hurt.
Yeah. The guy you would least like to see get hurt.
Oh man. Can you imagine if Marnie Libbok got injured for the Springboks?
Oh my goodness. I don't even want to think about it. Kerwin Bosch gets called up to the World Cup squad.
He's got a big boot. I like Kerwin. He's
Yeah,
just not a great tackler. You'd need to hide him at fullback, maybe on
yeah,
defense.
yeah. I even saw
Um,
like Lebok this weekend was putting in some good hits. I've
yeah,
never seen Bosch do that kind of stuff. So
no, that's not really his cup of tea. I
yeah,
think for the All Blacks, it'd be probably Aaron Smith, but then I think they would get Brad Weber into the lineup pretty
yeah,
quickly
yeah. I mean, you
if he
guys
went
play
down.
off 10, so as long as you have a 9 that can pass the ball really fast, you should be okay.
Yeah,
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 that's Aaron Smith's bag. So
yeah.
yeah, we've already got
Mwanga,
Frizzell out though, so maybe another one of the Lucy's. Like if Savia got injured, that would be
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
catastrophic because
yeah.
Jacobson's probably already going to be filling in for
For Frizzell.
Frizzell, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, probably a Lucy. I mean, we all like to brag about our depth, but as soon as someone like Lewitt went down, we were like, Morstead's good, but he's not that good. And if Mostert
Yeah,
or one of those guys goes away, so probably with us, it would be as well a Libok or someone experienced. Sia. I mean, the difference Sia has made, you could tell on Saturday, it was just a different level of attack and defense.
that's a big 40 minutes from him, eh? Like it
Yeah.
was nice. It was nice seeing him go off at halftime,
Mm.
like clearly because, like, yeah, just that's enough. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Get out of here.
but the impact he had in that first half was pretty phenomenal. I'm
I
just looking at
was,
the lineup now. Who would you want to like? Franz Machoba. I wouldn't like to see him go down because I don't think anyone quite does tight hip prop quite like Big Franz.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It just, I mean, if Pollard is as fit as they say they is,
Then Lebok
he
is
is.
not in that much danger. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Maybe Villy.
if Andre's not fit, then I don't know.
Maybe Villy. If he's not then, in your end of tournament games, he would be very, very important, I think. So
Yeah, see, he's on the bench. He's
yeah.
on the bench
Yeah.
for the game this weekend. So
Maybe they'll say on the weekend, if either of the teams are ahead by 10 or 15, okay, let's end the match there. I wish that on Saturday they were just like, okay, guys, we're ahead by 30 points. Let's just stop now before anyone else gets
yeah.
Now I see
I mean,
Willem.
you're seeing Moody's at 13.
Yeah, yeah. That was always in the talks.
There was the talks, but like I was like maybe in a pinch, but
Yeah.
maybe against one of the kind of minnows in the pool, but surely not against your first time at 13
We
since
keep
schoolboy
doing
rugby
that.
against the All Blacks.
I can't understand it. Why has an actual 10 like Libok not been playing against France and New Zealand and those guys? Every time we play one of those teams above us in the rankings, it's like, okay, let's do Willemse to pass and Faf to kick to the left and the other guy, Colby, kicks to the right, and we'll make a fly half out of 3 guys. Instead, just put a proper 10 there. And at least just now we've got a proper 10 there. But
yeah,
we always have to do something weird, something else in the back line. It's funny.
Yeah, well,
but I think
he
he'll go well.
Schoolboy rugby there, right?
Yeah, he did. He's I think even he's like, some kids have like their Instagram brand or whatever is C13. So Canaan 13. So he sees himself,
okay.
I think, as an outside.
I remember Jesse Creel's is like 15 something. His Twitter handle, I think, is something 15.
Yeah, he always saw himself as a fullback. I mean, I don't know if you remember when he started in Super Rugby, he was like carving out 15.
I found it weird that they tried to force him into center, to be honest. And I thought it was a horrible decision until maybe this year when he actually started to look pretty good.
Finally got a few games in a row.
Yeah.
He's good. He's always been a good defender. I've always rated JC, but yeah. And then I think he could go there. I just wish it wasn't against the bloody All Blacks.
All Blacks. If Rico plays, because they haven't selected the All Blacks as we sit here now, but if Rico plays, that'd have to be 2 of the quickest 13s in World Rugby. Like that would be so fun to see a foot race at some point between those guys, because there's not many guys that I think could catch Rico. One Springboks fan told me that he thinks Lucanio could catch Rico. I'm not convinced.
Not post knee.
They're certainly not now. No.
Yeah. I think the thing with Rico is his acceleration is so.
His acceleration is phenomenal
for someone that size. You almost don't expect him to just be off.
That's right.
And gone like that.
Yeah.
And his top end is pretty good as well. So
it's pretty good. Yeah.
There's a few guys I think in our team. I don't think acceleration wise, maybe Willemse. He chased down Caleb Clark last year.
True.
With a head start, but top end, I don't know if there's anyone in our team that can match Rico Ioane. I don't think there's anyone who could really in World Rugby. He's so fast. He is so fast.
Yeah.
Actually, let's get into, now that you've mentioned Rico, who do you think is going to play? How strong do you think this team will be? This New Zealand side. I'm looking at the team that played against the Aussies. I don't think it'll be that team. You probably
No,
won't.
I mean, my initial reaction was like the All Blacks are surely going to play the fringe guys in this game.
Yeah.
But then you see the Springbok lineup and you're like, well, that's your first Springbok front row.
Yeah.
That's Eben in the second row.
Yeah.
Sia's there. Peter Steff is there. Faf is there. Like it's largely a full strength Springbok team. Not quite, but
Yeah.
they could have put out a more experimental team than this one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's basically
So
Esterhuizen, Moody. Those are your guys that are going to be playing
yeah.
against
So you're
Romania.
kind of forcing the All Blacks' hand a little bit to
Yeah.
play some of the big guns. I do feel like some of the guys might need a wee bit of a rest. I definitely think now that Frizzell is out, we have to see Jacobson. I mean, they can play Dalton, Papali'i on the blind side as well, but I think that role probably fits Jacobson a bit better.
Yeah.
I also hope they give either Finlay or Cam Roygaard a go at 9. I know it's a big deal, but it's kind of like what they've done with Moody for the box. Like you need to give one of those guys, because I remember looking back at Finlay Christie's All Blacks caps, and the majority of them are from the bench. Very rarely does he start a game, and he started that game in Dunedin against the Wallabies and didn't look that convincing. So
I would think Roygaard would get a shot as well. Josh Lord, do you think he might?
Yeah, I think Josh Lord might get a go with Retallick still being not 100%. Yeah, I think they have to. And David Harvey as well, who didn't play with the All Blacks during the Rugby Championship because he was injured. He needs some game time. So I think he's pretty much a lock as well. I'm not sure if Emoni Narawa is fit because he went into the World Cup with a back strain. He got it in that first Rugby Championship game, but that's the only game we've seen him.
Yeah.
So
I really rate him. People don't seem to realize how good his kicking game is. In the semis and finals in Super Rugby, that guy was getting the Chiefs out of so much trouble with his clearing kicks. So that's how you beat the box these days, is kick well. So I wouldn't be surprised.
And he's great defensively as well. He's he's not got the same kind of frailties that we think of with like Caleb Clark.
Maybe Clark is this like unicorn. Eddie Jones is always talking about this player who plays anywhere. He's actually doing pick and goes around the ruck. And then also
I mean, he's a big unit of a man. That's for certain. Like some people, he's got his detractors. I mean, what he does well. But he's definitely not like a complete player. He put all his stats into a few aspects of his game. And didn't have anything left over for some other areas.
I would say I like Narawa more than Talia. Mostly because Talia doesn't really have the same boot, and they both, I think, are pretty good under the high ball as well. You might know the defense stats better than I do.
I think Narawa's defensive numbers are certainly better than Talia's, but then you get a bit more offensive punch with Talia. So it's kind of, I mean, I think for this game being what it is, if Narawa is 100%, then he definitely needs more than one test, going into a World Cup. He's only on one. I mean, they're like the All Blacks outside backs. Narawa's got one cap. Fainganuku's got 3 and Talia's got 4. So it's not a heck of a lot of experience between the 3 of them.
Okay. So maybe we'll see. I'd guess you'd have a pretty well-rigged pack, as strong as possible, except maybe Josh Lord. And the same as us, the kind of more fringe backline, but with the big guns on the bench, same as you did for the second Bledisloe, because those guys were needed to save you there a little bit.
10 will be a really interesting one. Do they go with Bodie? I don't know. I think we're pretty well stocked at 10, so whoever they go with will be
unfair,
fine.
Actually. You wouldn't need to go with Moanga. He's already proven
That's right.
Us in what's the name. So maybe as a back, or maybe you do McKenzie, but he had a bit of a tough game against the Aussies.
That's the thing. Does he need to have another go?
Yeah. All right, now the box. We've spoken about them. Do we think both these teams, they say in the news they're going to be going hard at it, or will we see a bit of not the same intensity you would see in a rugby championship match? Maybe earlier replacements, guys not really going full 60 or 80 minutes. Guys like, Sia might only do it 40 minutes again. Do you think we'll be
I mean, I think the guys on the field will certainly go full tilt. I don't think you can tell them to just go 80% and kind of, look after yourselves. I don't think that's feasible for most of these guys. But I think, like you say, the guys who are coming back from injury, like Khaleesi, you have to manage him pretty
Yeah,
carefully. I mean, the Boxers have been doing pretty well with Snyman. I think he was like bench, 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 and then start, and
yeah,
then now back to the bench. So
yeah.
it's not worth the risk to put an extra kind of 10 minutes on the guys who are,
Coming back.
still coming
Yeah,
back into full fitness. So yeah, I think that aspect of the game will be pretty carefully managed. Anyone who picks up even the slightest niggle is gonna be gone.
yeah,
But yeah, I can't imagine it'll be low intensity. I still think it'll be pretty
yeah.
high
As
intensity. All
always.
Black South Africa is always going to be high intensity.
Can't believe they've done this right before the World Cup. Why? Why?
Such a bizarre one, eh? I
Yeah.
remember it being announced, and I didn't think about it that much at the time. But now that we're
No.
here on the verge of the World Cup, it suddenly seems like a really bad idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe it's like for the All Blacks, they got France next,
Yeah.
so
8th of September,
maybe
2 weeks from now.
maybe getting a really high level opponent right before you play a really high level opponent is the way to go instead of just playing some team you're gonna
Yeah.
kind of mop the
Run
floor with.
over.
So maybe
I,
there's
I think,
a
who
logic
did
to it.
France play? Or France play, who do they play next? Let me just have a look at
France
France.
are playing Australia.
Oh, okay. So they actually kind of have that will be a tough game as well. Australia,
Hmm.
despite what everyone says, are not that
They're
bad.
not going to be pushovers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
SA play Scotland next, so this is definitely a good type of team to tackle.
Yeah.
England is also a running team, so it'll be a good warm up, I think. So maybe that makes sense, playing
There
Scotland
is a
next.
logic to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
As
mean,
long
these
as we,
guys are professional athletes. You have to be able to play a rugby game and not
yeah,
worry too much about it. I mean, getting injured is possible.
yeah,
Guys
yeah.
are going to get injured in training.
In the gym,
So,
yeah, it's gonna happen.
yeah. Yeah.
No, I think that's all I had to ask you. I don't even know how long we've been going for. Anything else you want to add?
Farrell got banned.
Oh yeah, I saw that last night just as I uploaded my
Your
video.
video came out right before the news came out
Yeah,
about him
it
getting
was
banned.
literally processing to HD as the news came out. I was like, oh, who cares? Yeah, he's out 4 weeks. Apparently retroactively banned for the weekend that went by.
For the Ireland game that he missed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which makes no sense to me. How does that work? Um, it's
I
I
think
think
that's the conclusion that the initial disciplinary paddle probably should have come to at the time.
hmm,
Like it's not overly harsh. The guy's got to work up on the horizon. I know they don't say that they consider that kind of thing, but come on,
yeah,
they consider that kind of
yeah,
thing. So
definitely.
you give him a ban, he misses a couple of games, but he's still free for the business
The
end.
knockouts, yeah, yeah,
I don't think there would have been a big furore if they'd given this ban in that first initial time. People would have said, it's a bit light, the same way
yeah.
the Sextons was a bit light, but there wouldn't have been the madness that happened.
I think they've shown such a big light on it now. It's going to cause, it's like the Streisand effect. You want to be invisible, the judiciary now. Everyone wants to know the names of these guys, what country are they
Yeah,
from, all that kind of stuff. And
that's right.
it's put a way bigger emphasis on it than I think we ever would have wanted it to be. And I see, he's missing 4 games now, no tackle school. Benny Villapola is also out for 3 games as well. I saw this morning. He got his ban. That's definitely probably in a reaction to Farrell as well, to say
Sure, there was no way they were going to let him off.
No, but he goes to tackle school. He still has the chance to
Right.
off
Okay.
as well. I definitely think they would be missing Owen, even in the group stages. I don't know about Billy. He hasn't been setting the world on fire.
But he's their only real number 8 in the squad. I mean, they got Ben Earl, who can play a bit of number 8, but he's their only kind of specialist number 8. So it's an interesting one.
And a big ball carrier as well. They don't really
have.
Yeah. So
because they didn't pick Don Brandt. So
even him, he's not that much ballast. So yeah, I'm sure they'll miss him. But he has been giving away some silly penalties lately, so maybe they won't miss him that much.
Maybe it'll be beneficial. I don't know. I mean, I like the idea if George Ford can get a crack, or even Marcus Smith. I think that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, yeah. Especially Ford, he needs some time. I don't think he's been playing that much. So
they haven't played him for ages.
Yeah,
so
they just need to figure out how to not just kick. Maybe attack as well.
Yeah.
Did you see
that's
that
really
thing
frustrating?
About them being 10th in everything, basically in the top 10 of the world? They first in kicking meters, but they're 10th in turnovers, 10th in knock-ons, 10th in penalties conceded, 10th in meters gained, 10th in points scored in the 22.
Where was that?
It's some guy on Twitter. He went through all the top 10 teams in the world. And he worked out, your points per 22 visits.
Yeah.
New Zealand is the number 1. South Africa's number 2. France is like number 3. And then,
Okay.
kicks per game, meters gained per kick, blah, 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 blah. And England are number one in kicks and meters gained per kick. And basically
not much else.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know what's happening there. They can't be holding back for the World Cup. You need to win something.
No, but I mean, it's similar to the way the Leicester side was playing when they won the Premiership. Borthwick's team was not a fun team to watch. They were pretty. I mean, when I say fun, like they weren't like offloading and playing. You know, they were very much a purists kind of rugby, which I can appreciate. But, you know, sometimes when you saw Leicester play Saracens, it was a bit like, wow, okay, But
the thing is, I think he's still playing with mostly Saracens players. You'd still want to kind of follow that template, you know. And it's also this schizophrenia with Marcus Smith and Farrell. I think they're bringing together too many different teams' philosophies and trying to put it into one. If you look at any international team, the Boks are basically all Stormers. The All Blacks are, as always, well, I think you guys are mostly Blues now, aren't you? Are you
well, the Blues have got, I think, the second or third biggest contingent. It's mostly Chiefs and Crusaders, but it's not hugely lopsided.
Yeah. And you guys, all your clubs basically play the same except for the Highlanders anyway. So it doesn't really make that big difference. And Ireland are all Leicester players and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like that's why no one knows what England's doing. They haven't picked a club that they base their game on, or they've picked the Tigers, but they haven't picked the players from Leicester.
But they're still picking the personnel, maybe like best player in position, not necessarily best player to fit this mold kind of thing.
Yeah. But what do I know? I'm not a coach. I'm just a silly YouTuber.
You're just a dad with a new baby.
A very tired dad, by the way. Very, very tired. It was my night last night. So, all right. Well, Mark, that was a very fun chat. I don't know how long.
Nice to meet you.
It was good to finally have a talk. My wife loves it when you guys mention my name on the old podcast. So
does she?
Thanks for all that. Yeah, no, she thinks the rugby community is so much nice. She's a fine artist. She says the art world is cutthroat, where the rugby community, she says is very nice. So I'm glad we all are sitting.
Well, it doesn't make sense to try and put each other down because the rugby community is pretty small in the scheme of things. You need to fight for every little bit of YouTube real estate that we can.
Yeah. I've actually noticed that the ease with which I've gotten to guys like you or Squidge, I've chatted to him as well.
Yeah.
It's incredible. You would think that there'd be so many steps to get there, but you do really realize how small the rugby community is once you start doing it.
It's very intimate.
It's very fun. It makes it all easy to chat to guys, you know, Jared and all those guys from Rugby Bits.
Yeah, for sure.
So, no, I've really enjoyed doing it. It's been 2 years and it's really blowing up now. So it's a lot of fun. Good to meet you. Good to meet Tony.
Yeah, man.
And
for sure
we'll chat again.
And hopefully Tony doesn't call me a betrayer for going behind his back.
Go watch the TwoCents Gets Distracted podcast, guys. Let me plug.
Yeah, there you go. Reverse plug.
Right.
Cool, bro.